Female MCs. I mean, female MCs have been around for a long time, 40 plus years for sure. The first credited female MC is MC Rock. MC Rock of the foundation hip hop group Funky 4+1. The first person that really registered on my timeline, we'll say, would be Roxanne Shantae. Roxanne Shantae really inserted herself into the UTFO situation with Roxanne and called herself Roxanne Shantae, and made a diss track to them even though she had nothing to do with them. So Roxanne's Revenge, Bite This, I mean, these are, she was putting out singles. She didn't put out her first album until 89, but you think about Roxanne's Revenge, you think about Bite This, and Bite This, she throws some shots at Run DMC and LL. So she really, as a female MC, she didn't care. Like, Roxanne Shantae was fearless. I think the biggest issue people had is she freestyled a lot, and I believe that Roxanne's Revenge was actually a freestyle. But when she started having songs that were more lyrical, like Have a Nice Day, Big Daddy Kane actually wrote those lyrics. I actually saw Roxanne Shantae in concert, March Break '88. She came down as part of Night of the Female MCs. Night of the Female MCs. It was her. It was a chick named Jazzy Love out of Philly, who was I don't even know who she. I think she had one song on the radio at the time, and Antoinette, who was down with Herbie Love Book, but she didn't show up. So it was really just Shantae, and Shantae rocked it. Still, she rocked it. She rocked it same way, man. Can't complain. But Roxanne Shantae was trouble for sure. She was trouble. The big diss song for me that came from Shantae was Big Mama, where she disses Queen-Latifah, she disses Yo-Yo, she disses MC-Lyte, she disses Salt-N-Pepa, she disses the whole. I mean, she disses Monie-Love. There's a line in the song where she goes, "You're illegitimate, trying to get a little bit, and I'm about sick of that Monie in the middle shit." Crazy. Your album cold garbage. Had one good jam, now you think you a star? You know how the rest goes. Shantae was trouble. But I do own Bad System, which is her first album in '89. Then there was Sweet Tea. Sweet Tea was just that, very sweet. She had a song called It's My Beat. She was connected to Herbie Love Book. And Herbie Love Bug produced her. He produced Antoinette. He produced Salt-N-Pepa. So he produced Dana Dane. Herbie Love Bug was producing all kinds of people. He was out there doing it. But Sweet Tea, it's interesting. She did her thing, and she ended up calling herself Sugar later on, and she came back in the early '90s. But it's interesting. I was in New York. I was in Queens. I have family in Queens. I have family in different boroughs in New York or NYC, and I was on Jamaica Avenue, and I saw her. I was like, oh shit. And I remember I called out. I said, "Sweet Tea," and she smiled. I don't know how far away. I don't think I was that far. Maybe 15, 20 feet away. And she kind of put her hand up and she smiled. I was like, "What's up, man?" And that was kind of dope, man. I think it was probably the first hip hop artist I'd seen in New York. But Sweet Tea, big up to Sweet Tea, man. It's My Thing was dope. I Got That Feeling was dope. And she did her thing. For sure. She did her thing. Salt-N-Pepa. Speaking of Herbie Love Book, Salt-N-Pepa came on the scene in '86. They had songs like Tramp. Push It was a huge song. It went well beyond hip hop and became like a party song, dance song. But yeah, Herbie Love Bug really stayed behind Salt-N-Pepa and blew them up. I saw Salt-N-Pepa in concert as part of Rap Attack '87. It was MC Shan as a headliner, Heavy D and the Boys, and Salt-N-Pepa. And Salt-N-Pepa rocked it. Yeah, they rocked it. I really like the name of their second album, Assault with a Deadly Pepper. Dope name. That was a dope name for an album. Yeah, and then they just took off. I mean, when you think about Shoop and all that pop stuff they were doing, but in the beginning they were doing the hip hop thing. I think Push It really put them in another place. But they were, even by the second album, they were still, I would regard them as hip hop. And then they really became hip hop after that, for sure. What a Man and all these radio songs that were playing on like R&B radio, they just moved into a different space. But Big up to Salt-N-Pepa, man, because they represented that hip hop thing, you know, for the ladies in '86. I'd say '86 to about '88, maybe even later than that, but they definitely started to become more pop as the '90s came in. But Salt-N-Pepa, I saw them in concert and they rocked it. They rocked it in '87 for sure, for sure. And then there was hometown talent from Toronto, Michie Mee. Michie Mee. I'm trying to think of when I first heard Michie Mee. I think probably '86. I don't think it was any earlier than that. I think she put out her first single in '86. Her breakthrough song was Elements of Style, which was produced by BDP, Scott LaRock, and KRS-One. That was a huge thing for a Toronto artist to be produced by, you know, a popular or really a recognized hip-hop group. I mean, BDP were official in '87. So to have them producing for Michie Mee, a Toronto talent, was really dope. So yeah, '87. And then eventually she went on to sign with First Priority Records, which I believe was a record label run by MC-Lyte's uncle, if I'm not mistaken. And so Michie Mee was down with everybody. You know, you used to pick up magazines like Spice Magazine, you know, different rap magazines at the time, and you'd see Michie Mee at Al B. Shore's birthday party. She was down with Heavy D. She was down with everybody. And even later on, I remember seeing her, you know, people giving shout outs to her, you know, like Lord Finesse saying big up to Michie Mee. So it's like she was down with everybody, from the underground to the more above level artists who were in hip hop in the '80s into the '90s, for sure, without question. She was down with Big Daddy Kane. She was down with everybody. So big up to Michie Mee for sure. I actually saw her at an event in 2017. It was actually Pete Rock and Sale Smooth came and performed in Toronto. They'd been here before. They came in the early '90s, but they came again in 2017, many years after the fact. And she was the MC for the event. So Michie Mee, yeah, big up to Michie Mee for sure. And then MC-Lyte. The first time I heard MC-Lyte was Cramped to Understand. 87, I believe. Yeah, 87. And she just continued to pick up steam. And she put out her first album, Light as a Rock. I remember I bought that at a record store downtown in '88. MC-Lyte was doing her thing, and then she got to this battle with Antoinette. I saw MC-Lyte in concert in 1990 and again in 1993. So 1990 would have been just like, I think maybe a little less than a year after Eyes on This, and then '93 she came back again. By then she was doing like that track Roughneck and all that. She, you know, the vibe was not quite the same anymore. But yeah, so I saw Lyte twice, 90 and 93. And then Antoinette, speaking of Antoinette, you know, Antoinette came on the scene with I Got an Attitude, produced by Herbie Lovebug. She had Unfinished Business. And obviously, you know, as I mentioned earlier, her and MC-Lyte were going back and forth. I think Lyte went in pretty hard. I don't think Antoinette was as hard in terms of her responses, but Lyte took it on, and it was dope. It was dope to hear two females going back and forth, because, you know, we'd only really heard men going back and forth for the most part. So that was pretty dope. But MC-Lyte, yeah, I saw MC-Lyte in concert 90, 93. Never saw Antoinette because she was supposed to come in 88, but she didn't come. But I still think, you know, I Got an Attitude is dope still. All these years later, dope song. Very dope song. And then Queen-Latifah, 89. Ladies First is really the song that really put her out there. You know, that whole, you know, because she came out in a time where the black empowerment movement was still going on. So she represented that Africana energy, you know, with the head wraps, and she was doing her thing. I didn't really get into that first album. I remember songs off that album. I just think about Ladies First and Come Into My House. But Queen-Latifah continued to put out records. I mean, I like some songs. Was it Latifah's Had It Up to Here? That was cool on the second album. But I actually own the third album, Black Rain, which was dope. Tony Dofat produced some stuff on there. It was just dope. And it had, you know, KRS-One was on there, Treacher's on there, Heavy D was on there. I like that album. Yeah, I still like that album. That's like almost 30 years later. Dope. And obviously Queen-Latifah's gone into acting, TV, and film. She's got her Equalizer series, and she's done a lot of film. She's out there. You know, I don't think she's really making music anymore. Can't forget about Monie-Love. Monie-Love came in through Queen-Latifah. She was obviously featured on Ladies First. She was actually in attendance at a Big Daddy Kane concert in '89 in Toronto. Kane came down and So Michie Mee was there. At a certain point in the show, he called them both on stage, Michie Mee and Monie-Love. So they came out and did some verses each, and that was dope. So big up to Monie-Love. And Monie-Love is from England. I like Yo-Yo. I think there's something cute about her. And she's not the greatest MC. I wouldn't even call her an MC. She's a rapper. She's a rapper. MC is a very specific term. I liked her though. I mean, You Can't Play My Yo-Yo was a big song in the clubs, and when I used to go to the clubs, I used to hear that. I like Black Pearl. Yeah, Black Pearl is dope as well. That was on her second album. I like that. I like because it's a conscious song. I like that. It's about female empowerment, black woman empowerment, and I dug that for sure. And then there was Rage. Now, Rage, that's a different story now. Rage was an MC. Yeah, Rage was dangerous. You know, like most people, I heard Rage on The Chronic. And I was never this big Dr. Dre fan. I was never a big NWA fan. And I was never even a big Chronic fan, but I heard Rage. I was like, okay, she's pretty ferocious, man. And then by the time Doggy Style came out, which was the next year, so from 92 to 93, I was like, okay, I was a fan of Doggy Style. Doggy Style is a dope album for sure. And then she came up with Afro Puffs. Dope. Yeah, so, you know, from The Chronic to Doggy Style to Afro Puffs, which was on the Above the Rim soundtrack. Dope in 94. Dope. So from 92, 93, 94. But she's from Virginia, Warren G. Regulate G-Funk era, man. His first solo album featured a young lady by the name of Jah-Skillz. Jah-Skillz was dope. She was part of a group called the 5 Footers. She had a song called Super Soul Sister, and her solo song on that album, Warren G's first album, dope. I don't know where she's from. I would imagine Los Angeles, but Los Angeles is a broad area. I don't know if it's like she's from Long Beach as well as where Warren was from, but she was dope. Yeah, she was dope. I don't know what happened to her or the group, but Jah-Skillz was dope. I thought she sounded really good over Warren's beats. And then there was another song on the Jason's Lyric soundtrack called Walk Away, and it was her and I don't know if it's Nev Love or Neb Love, as she was one of the other members in 5 Footers. Dope. And then there's Heather B. It's so interesting to see where Heather B is now as a co-host on Sway's show. Sway's Universe, whatever the show is called. But Heather B, I think she was on Real World, one of the first reality shows. I think it was like 1990. But by 95, she had a hip-hop career. She had a rap career. And she was down with BDP, KRS-One's brother, Kenny Parker, producing for her. And she had a song called All Glocks Down. I don't know who produced All Glocks Down. I don't know if it was Kenny, but I know Kenny produced If Heads Only Knew, which was a dope, rugged track. It's so interesting when you hear women represent that rugged shit, man. It's like, oh my goodness. To this day, I love that song. If I heard this song out in a party, I'd be rocking to that shit, man. If Heads Only Knew. And she's from New Jersey. Jersey, man. Big up. Then there's Bahamadia. I'm not sure about Bahamadia's affiliation. I know she's connected to Gang Starr. She's connected to the Roots because she's from Philly. So I think it's kind of a combination of being connected to either or to both collectives, both groups. But Bahamadia, as far as I'm concerned, is the dopest female MC to do it. She just is to me, you know. And I give love to Shantae. I give love to Lyte. I give love to Queen-Latifah. I give love to, you know, all kinds of other females who did it. But I don't know, the way she writes, the way she spits, she's dope. Bahamadia, to me, is the nicest female MC I've heard in all these years. I just feel that Bahamadia is the dopest that I've heard for sure. I mean, I own her album Collage. Never seen her in concert. But the way she spits, the way she writes, she's dope. She has this more understated kind of, almost like a whisper. Like she has a very soft-spoken delivery. She's dope. Her lyrics are dope. She's just dope. She's dope. The last thing I heard from her was an EP she put out. I don't know how long ago it is now. It's less than 10 years ago. I believe like less than 10 years ago. But she's nice. And Collage is from like 96. She's dope, without question. And then finally, you have Rah Digga. Digga. Yeah, also from New Jersey. Rah Digga was down with the Outsiders. a Jersey collective. That's not really where I heard about Rah Digga. I heard about Rah Digga from Flip Mode because, you know, I was definitely a big Busta fan during the 90s. The Imperial is where I heard her, the Flip Mode album. She holds her own. She did her thing. She did her thing. I saw Flip Mode. Flip Mode came to Montreal in '98, so I did see Rah Digga in concert. And Rah Digga's done her thing. You know, Rah Digga got to spit on some nice beats. You know, her first album, Dirty Harriet, had a song produced by Premier, one done by Pete Rock, and then she had some Knots stuff because, you know, Knots was down with Busta from Busta's third album, Extinction Level Event. And so by 2000, when Dirty Harriet came out, Rah Digga got more Knots beats, and she got Pete Rock, she got Premier, and then she had a whole album produced by Knots in 2010, the album Classic. So big up to Rah Digga, man. Rah Digga's still in the mix. She's still touring. Big up to the ladies, man. Queens on the mic.